Yes, yes. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm a born MD, and it's only in 2007 and 8 when I first heard about the claim that Mirza Sahib is actually a real and true prophet, and it made me worried then. Then I started reading many of his books, so and many references, and it was last time in 2015 when I last read his books, and I reached this conclusion that Mirza Sahib wasn't a true prophet. He had only claimed to be he had only claimed prophethood in a sense that he had used this language of tasawwuf, and he said he is a zilli and broody prophet, and he used this language of istara. And I think it's only Mirza Bashiruddin who actually changed his teachings, whether he misunderstood them, whether he was ignorant, or he intentionally did this. That I don't know. I don't have that much knowledge. But that's what I think Mirza Sahib is maximum. He's not a true prophet. He has used these terms in the sense of istara. And that's what I was writing in the comment box. Anything you want to add?
So my brother, you actually got, at least you got, like, you read the writings of Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, and this is the first thing we ask about from our layman Ahmadi brothers, right? Is to actually read the claims, understand the claims, right? And this is get a first-hand knowledge of what's been presented to you. So now, if you say that his claim wasn't of a true prophet, I'm just asking, as a Muslim, can you potentially deny Mirza Ghulam Ahmed and be a perfect Muslim?
According to my knowledge, yes, you can deny Mirza Sahib and still be a Muslim.
So be a Muslim. See, can you be as good as you can be of a Muslim, or denying him takes anything out of your religion?
As I said earlier, Mirza Sahib is just like he started this firqa. He mentioned it in one of his books. He called his Jamaat a firqa also. So he started it um, just like any other firqas. So that's what my opinion is, that Jamaat Ahmadiyya originally is just a firqa like other firqas. And by uh, rejecting any firqas, you just don't become a non-Muslim overnight or kafir overnight.
Imtiaz, inshallah, you want to?
Jazakallah khair. First of all, Abdullah Khan Sahib, I really appreciate the courage you had to join us and to share your thoughts. Obviously, everyone has the right to agree or disagree with what we are saying, but something has to be factual. So, Abdullah Khan Sahib, you said that it's perfectly fine if someone rejects Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani Sahib. Why? Because you said he's just like an other Sufi saint or just an other, righteous person as we have in this ummah, other people. Is that what you said?
Yes, absolutely right.
Okay. And if we show it to you now that he said that if you have received my message and you don't believe in me, you are not a Muslim.
Well, please show me this reference, and then I will go and do my research further.
No problem. I'm gonna share my screen and it is straight from the books of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani himself. Ruhani Khazain, volume 22, page number is 167. The most important book of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani towards the end of his life is Hakikatul Wahi, which he started to write in 1906, 1907. In May 1907, the book was published. Now, look at this one. Question number 6. Someone is asking Mirza Ghulam Qadiani some questions. Question number 6. हजूर आली ने हजारों जगहों पे तहरीर फरमाया है कि कलमा गो और अहले किबला को काफिर कहना किसी तरह भी सही नहीं है। इससे साफ जाहिर है कि अलावा उन मोमिनों के जो आपकी तकफीर करके काफिर बन जाएं, सिर्फ आपके ना मानने से कोई काफिर नहीं होता। So exactly the question we are discussing, let me just highlight. Yeah. So exactly the question we are having discussion about, that it says that Mirza Sahib, the questioner is saying that Mirza Sahib, in many places you have said that we cannot excommunicate, or we cannot do takfir, or we cannot declare disbeliever to anyone who is reciting the kalima and who's praying to the direction of Makkah or Kaaba. So then he said that the questioner is saying that from this we conclude that if somebody rejects you, he will not become a kafir. लेकिन अब्दुल हलीम खान को आप लिखते हैं कि हर एक शख्स जिसको मेरी दावत पहुंची है और उसने मुझे कबूल नहीं किया, वो मुसलमान नहीं. But he said that recently, obviously, it was in 1906, I believe. He said that recently, you have said and you have written a letter to Abdul Hakim, who was one of Mirza's followers. He said you have written a letter to Abdul Hakim, and in that letter you have mentioned, and what is that? हर एक शख्स जिसको मेरी दावत पहुंची है और उसने मुझे कबूल नहीं किया, वो मुसलमान नहीं. He said that you have said and you have written in that letter that every such person who has received my message and yet does not believe in me, he is not a Muslim. And by the way, let me just give you one point here. The actual text of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was, खुदा ने मेरे पे जाहिर किया है कि हर वो शख्स जिसको मेरी दावत पहुंची है और उसने मुझे कबूल नहीं किया, वो मुसलमान नहीं. इस मिर्जा गुलाम कादियानी said that God has informed me. So it was not his opinion. According to him, it was a revelation that every person who has received my message and yet does not believe in me, he is not a Muslim in the sight of Allah. खुदा की नजर में मुसलमान नहीं. Okay, now इस बयान और पहली किताबों के बयान में तनाकुज है. He said that first you are saying that if you don't believe in me, you will not become a kafir. And now you are saying if you don't believe in me, you are not a Muslim. Obviously, you are a kafir. So he said, why is this contradiction? He said, and he said, yeah, he said, sorry, तरियाकुल कुलूब वगैरह में लिख चुके हैं कि मेरे ना मानने से कोई काफिर नहीं होता. अब आप लिखते हैं, brother, note the point. अब आप लिखते हैं कि मेरे इनकार से काफिर हो जाता है. He said that in Tariqul Qulub, which was a book from 1900, he said that you have said in that book that if somebody rejects me, he will not become a disbeliever. And now you are writing that if you reject me, you become a disbeliever. My dear brother, please understand one point. Whatever the questioner has said, if this was not the Mirza Ghulam Qadiani's position, his response should be, hello, I never said this. You are lying. You are accusing. Not at all. Look at the answer. जवाब, मिर्जा गुलाम कादियानी is responding now. ये अजीब बात है, आप काफिर कहने वाले और ना मानने वाले को दो किस्म के इंसान ठहराते हैं. He said that it is strange that you are declaring these two categories as separate, i.e. the one who does not believe in me and the one who declares me a kafir. He said, how can Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is saying that how can you say that these two are separate? One group is calling me kafir and the other group is simply not believing in me. हालांकि खुदा के नजदीक एक ही किस्म है. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Sahib saying that in the sight of God, both of these two categories are same. Which categories? Either somebody calling me a kafir or somebody simply not believing in me. Then it says, क्योंकि जो शख्स मुझे नहीं मानता, इसी वजह से नहीं मानता कि वो जो मुझे मुफ्ती कराता है. Because if somebody does not believe in me, it means that he is declaring me a fabricator, that I am lying on Allah. Because Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was claiming that Allah speaks to me. And if still somebody is not believing in me, he said this person is saying basically, I'm a liar. And then it continues. You can read the whole answer. It's up to you. But what I'm trying to say is that this was exactly said to Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. That Mirza Sahib, at one stage you were saying that if you don't believe in me, you are not a kafir. And now you are saying if you don't believe in me, you are a kafir. And Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is not saying in response that no, I never said that. Yes, Brother Abdullah.
Sorry, you said this reference is from Mirza Sahib's book Hakikatul Wahi. What is the page number, please?
Ruhani Khazain, volume 22, page number 167.
167. Thank you.
And if you want to read the actual book, Ruhani Khazain, sorry, Hakikatul Wahi, then the page number is 163, 164.
163, 164.
Yeah. The reason I mentioned this because sometimes Lahori Jamaat has printed the books of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani without a compilation in Ruhani Khazain. So in that case, in the actual book Haqiqatul Wahi, page number 163, and what I was reading is 164.
Yeah, thank you for showing me this reference. Now I can study it further because I hadn't read this in the past. So whatever I had read, according to my understanding, I had read a conclusion that you can't be a kafir or non-Muslim just by not accepting Mirza Sahib because he's like just any wali or
Yeah.
saint. So yeah, let's read it further. Thank you.
No worries at all. And because you are going to do some research, so let me just share with you one more reference from the same book, Haqiqatul Wahi. And if you are reading from the actual book, you can start reading from page number 390 if you are reading the actual book. Okay. And if you read from Ruhani Khazain, then page number is 406 and 407. Now let's see what it says. Look at this one, because Abdullah Sahib, in your mind, there was a perception that Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is just like any other wali, correct?
Yes, yes.
Now look at this one. It says there that I'm reading from this line. Yes. And by the way, this is not me. This is highlighted by Jamaat itself. I did not do that. It says that बात ये है, जैसा कि मुजद्दिद साहिब सरहिंदी ने अपने मकतूब में लिखा है कि अगरचे इस उम्मत के बाज अफराद मुकालमा और मुखातबा इलाहिया से मखसूस हैं और क़यामत तक मखसूस रहेंगे, लेकिन जिस शख्स को बकसरत इस मुकालमा और मुखातबा से मुशर्रफ किया जाए और बकसरत उमूर गैबिया इस पे जाहिर किए जाए, वो नबी कहलाता है. He said that even though Sheikh Ahmad Sarhandi has mentioned that there are people and there will be people in this ummah who converse with Allah. They receive ilham or they receive some sort of communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he said that amongst them, if somebody is receiving this this ilham in abundance, and this person is being revealed the matter of the unseen for him, then such person is a Nabi. Now, obviously, the reason for this passage, my dear brother, is that in this passage, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is misquoting somebody, but that's not our topic right now. But what he's trying to say is, he said, I am different. I'm just not just one like any other wali. Because he said that I am different because I am called a prophet on this criteria. Now, to make it further clear, look at this one. गर्ज गर्ज इस हिस्सा कसीर वही इलाही और मुरे गैबिया में इस उम्मत में मैं ही एक फर्द मखसूस हूँ. He said in terms of receiving revelation and in terms of knowing the matters of the unseen, in this ummah I am the only person specified. और जिस कदर मुझसे पहले औलिया और अबताल और अख्ताब इस उम्मत में गुजर चुके हैं, इनको इस नेमत का नहीं दी. He said, as far as other saints are concerned, other righteous people of the Ummah are concerned, they have not been given what I have been given. And then look at this one. बस इस वजह से नबी का नाम पाने के लिए मैं ही मखसूस किया गया हूँ. For this reason, I am the only one who has the exclusive right to be called a prophet. दूसरे तमाम लोग इस नाम के मुस्तहिक नहीं. Said all other people, all other saints, they are not worthy of this title of a Nabi. Okay, and likewise he said the same thing here as well. If you look at here, कि ऐसा शख्स एक ही, and by the way, he said something very strange here. If you read here, because he said in the first part that other people have not achieved this status, and now he's telling that Allah has stopped them. He said Allah has stopped everybody else. Why? He said this person can only be one, and it is me. And by the way, this is where the book is ending. As you can see, this is the last page, and it says Tammat, completed. Yes, Abdullah. So basically, Abdullah, the reason for this reference was Mirza Ghulam, not Bishuddin Mahmud. No, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani himself is distinguishing between himself and other saints. He said the other saints, they have no right to be called a prophet, but I have the right to be called a prophet.
Yes, brother, the way I understand it, that according to Mirza Sahib's opinion, that other saints, they had not reached this level, and he was the only one who had reached that level where he got this name, or where he got this status that he can be a prophet. But still, although I haven't read the Tazaffuf, you might have, because you're mashallah knowledgeable person. So according to my understanding, that it clearly means that he's not a true prophet, because he said he got the name. He's not saying I've been made a prophet, because once again, as Muslim, we believe that prophethood can't be earned. Allah makes prophet. A prophet is by birth a prophet. So nobody, even Mirza Sahib, nobody in the world can earn prophethood. So that's why even I have seen your videos where you have mentioned yourself that Jamaat Ahmadiyya believe in third kind of prophethood. They claim that two types of prophethood is khatam, it's not anymore, it's finished, but there's a third dilly prophethood, bruisey prophethood. So that's my opinion about it. And just one thing I would like to mention, that when I was doing my research, that those days there weren't many debates taking place on YouTube, but I was doing a lot of research, and I saw this video from uh, this scholar. I've forgotten his name. You know his name. He said that Mirza Sahib was also his opinion was also that Mirza Sahib was using this Sufi istaarat in his books, and his son Bashiruddin, the second caliph, he actually made him true prophet, and that's his fault. Ghamdi Sahib, I saw one of his videos. So since then, I was like very sure that Mirza Sahib wasn't a true prophet. Instead, he was just a zillion bruising, and that means that doesn't have anything to do with reality. Thank you for your time that you've given me. I will read these books further. I'll try to understand further. I'll keep in touch with you if you have time for me, and then I can learn more from you.
So Abdullah Sahib, sorry, are you still speaking or you finished?
No, I'm finished.
Okay. So can I remove the reference?
Yes, I've already written it down. You said page number 406, 407.
Yeah. So Abdullah Sahib, last thing first, as far as myself or any of our team members are concerned, we are always, inshallah, here whenever you want to contact us. And it's up to you. If you like, in the private chat, if you like to share any of your contact details, it will be private, because a private chat, inshallah, we can have a private session, because in a private session, I believe that we can talk in a more open way, because obviously sometimes when we are talking sitting live, there are many things maybe I cannot say that vividly, because I don't want to harm anyone's feelings, and there may be things which you may not want to say because of different reasons. So I would suggest that let's inshallah catch up in a private session. That's my suggestion, but up to you. There's no compulsion. That's first thing. But inshallah, regardless of you want a private session or you want to come public, either way it's your choice. That is one thing. So my brother, second thing is, please think about this. Initially, Abdullah Bhai, you said initially that yes, because nobody else reached to that status. Because when I was reading all of that, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is saying that it's only me who reached to that level, that where I received the name Nabi and Rasul, and nobody else was deserving of that. First of all, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani is himself, please think about this, in between the line, he himself is telling you that it has to do something with your own personal effort. Because he's saying in black and white, he said that the other people are not deserving. Please think, Abdullah Bhai. He said the other people apart from me, they वो मुस्तहिक नहीं हैं. He said कोई और मुस्तहिक नहीं है. If prophethood is not an entitlement, if prophethood is not something you deserve after your hard work, then there's no point for Mirza Sahib to say that other than me, nobody was deserving. Because this statement can only have any meanings if prophethood or of this title has to do something with the deserving, with the effort. Number one. Number two, my dear brother, is you talked about, you mentioned briefly about Ghamdi Sahib, and then Mirza Jahilmi is also quoting Ghamdi Sahib on this issue. My dear brother, as we all know, not everyone is specialist of every field. Ghamdi Sahib, they are specialists in their own field. Mirza Jahilmi maybe because he is too much interested, to know about how the Sahaba differ with each other. It may be his field. Qadianiyat is not the field of either one of them. Because when they were making those statements, they have no idea what they are saying. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Sahib said, "Sacha Khuda wo hai jisne Qadian mein apna Rasul utara." Number one. Number two, my dear brother Abdullah, why do you believe that Muhammad was the Rasul of Allah? Why do you believe that?
Because he was chosen by God.
Because Allah revealed and Allah has informed us that he is my messenger, correct?
Yes.
So, Abdullah bhai, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through revelation, informing the Prophet and through Prophet informing us that he is my messenger, correct?
Yes.
Abdullah bhai, ek galti ka izala. Mirza Sahib saying that Khuda, first he quoted the revelation, Muhammadur Rasulullahi walladina ma'ahu ashidda al kuffar rahamau bainahum. He quoted this verse. I am not saying that he was quoting the verse of the Quran. He said that I have received this revelation. Now, before Mirza Sahib, we have our Prophet who received this revelation, which is found in Surah Al-Fatha, Muhammadur Rasulullah walladina ma'ahu. He said that this time I have received this revelation wahi. इस वही इलाही में मेरा नाम मुहम्मद और रसूल रखा गया. Bhai, please think about this one. The reason we believe Muhammadur Rasulullah. Why? Because Allah revealed to him and we have been informed through our Prophet in the Quran. Now, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is claiming revelation from Allah and this revelation is declaring Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Muhammad Rasulullah. Now, if it is same Allah sending the revelation and first time he declared that Muhammadur Rasulullah to our Prophet and this time he's declaring Mirza Ghulam Qadiani as Muhammad Rasulullah, then how can we say, and by the way, Abdullah Sahib, remember this point. There is not a single revelation Mirza Ghulam Qadiani has ever quoted in which he is called Zilli Bruzi Nabi. This was interpretation, and by the way, you know this very well. Interpretation of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, Faham, understanding of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is not binding according to Lahori Jamaat and according to Qadiani group as well. Both of these groups, they do not consider the understanding of Mirza Sahib as binding. You know why? Because they have the principle of ijtihadi galti. Because both of these two groups believe that when Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was quote unquote some kind of prophet, and when he will interpret something, even his own revelation, he can make mistake. Am I right?
Yes, I think so. I think
Yes.
so.
For this reason, both of them have a principle that the primary evidence is what God revealed to him. Abdullah Sahib, there is not a single revelation. Neither Lahori Jamaat nor Qadiani group, none of them have quoted any revelation in which Allah or God is revealing to you as Zilli Bruzi Rasul. It's only Nabi and Rasul. It's only Rasul. It never says Zilli Bruzi Rasul. So if Mirza Ghulam Qadiani's understanding is not binding and the binding thing is revelation, then revelation does not have this thing Zilli Bruzi. You need to know this point as well. And last but not the least, you know, Abdullah Sahib, if Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was not a real prophet, as your understanding is, then there is no way for him to say that Allah has informed me that if somebody has received my message and still does not believe in me, he is not a Muslim. Then he can't say this. You agree with me?
Yes, I agree with you about that. Yes.
So, Abdullah, this is our case. Very simple case. We don't need to make it overcomplicated. So it's a very simple case, by the way, if you want to see, I can show you on the screen. Mirza Sahib said that I have received this status through the perfect obedience and following of the Prophet. Kamil ittiba or pairvi se ye darja mila. Kamil ittiba or pairvi se. And secondly, Abdullah bhai, understand that point which I just quoted from page 407. If whatever Mirza Sahib was claiming, if it has nothing to do with somebody's hard work, then he cannot say that other people were not deserving. Then he can't say this because then nobody is deserving. He does not need to mention that. You agree with me?
Not really, not on this point. But as you said earlier, if you don't mind me saying this,
No problem.
as you said earlier, we can speak privately. So if you can share your number, WhatsApp number with me, I've already got your email address. Then
if you just send me a message in the private chat, inshallah, I will contact you myself, inshallah.
okay, like I should send you my number.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send you my number.
In the private chat, you can mention that.
But just before finishing this,
Can I just make one last comment before Abdullah bhai you finish?
Yeah, please go ahead, please.
Because the reason for this last comment, Abdullah bhai, is that obviously we can, inshallah, we can continue to speak and discuss in private, but obviously there are people watching right now, so inshallah it can it can benefit these people as well. So Abdullah Sahib, there are two primary things, two fundamental things. Number one, if Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was not a prophet in the real sense of the word prophet, then somebody rejecting him can never be a non-Muslim, as Mirza Sahib said. That is one key point. And second point is that it's not just this claim of prophethood. For example, Abdullah Sahib, I'm not sure that how much of today's stream you have watched. We have presented a case. There is a pattern that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani's writings are, at least you would say, deceptive. If you look, if I would say if I would use the word lying, for which I have evidence for, it will hurt your feelings. I understand that, so I'm not going to use that word. But at the least, they are very deceptive. If you have watched today's stream, the main theme was Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is telling us that Allah has informed him in clear terms, in open word, in explicit word, that Mubarak Ahmad will die. Then yet he is going to marry Mubarak Ahmad with a 2-year-old child to save Mubarak Ahmad. So if this thing was there, that Allah has informed him in clear terms, in his own word, Sri Ilfaz mein, Basrahat, Khul Ilfaz mein, all of his own word. If that is the case, that Allah has informed him in black and white that Mubarak Ahmad will die, and yet he's doing something very weird, very absurd, very strange, which is a zulm on a 2-year-old child to save Mubarak Ahmad. And this is not just one example. The things of this nature, these are all over the place in the works of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. So it's not just this aspect of his claim, it is the aspect of his, unfortunately, his, if you the least would say, tazadat, contradictions. Ji Abdullah bhai.
Well, if there wasn't any debate about his prophethood, then there wouldn't be so much scrutiny. You wouldn't be sitting here whole night and discussing Mirza Saab, and nobody would be listening. Nobody would be even reading those books. I remember that when we were in Pakistan, we had many of his books at home, but none of us read those books because we never believed him to be a prophet, a true prophet, or a prophet in Nabi or Rasul. So that's why we thought Quran is a message from Allah, or at the most you can read a hadith, and common Muslim don't even read a hadith. So for us, Quran was important, namaz, salah was important, and following Hadrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was important. So Mirza Sahib is under such a scrutiny, or his writings are under so much scrutiny because of the stance this Jamaat has taken, which I am against. That there's so many things that I don't agree with at the moment, and I try to tell my family members, and unfortunately I have many arguments with them. There's this Jamaat of ours is on the wrong path, and that's why we are suffering. That's why other Muslims hate us, because so much hatred has been spread even by our Jamaat, by calling others, for example, that people from other Muslims, if they don't accept Mirza Sahab, they can be kafir. We don't call them kafir, but they will become kafir. So, and just before I go, Mirza Sahib, he never took bayah from people as a prophet. When my grandfather, when he took his bayah, he never said, "Okay, you are a prophet of God, and that's why I'm taking a bayah." He took his bayah as like he's an Imam Mahdi, and he's a wali of God, and he's using this word Nabi as an istara. But even now, Ahmadis don't, when they take bayah, they don't call me as a prophet. And despite of that, they claim that Mirza Sahab is a true prophet. It's either deception, which I believe is deception, which started from second Caliph of our Jamaat. And whether he was ignorant or whether he was doing it intentionally, that I don't know. That knowledge is with Allah. And that's all I have to say at the moment. And I'll write my number to you. Anything that you would like to add at the end, you can go ahead and add if you want to.
No, Sahib, thank you very much, and thanks for this, mashallah, very respectful discussion, because that's the way forward. That's what it should be. So I appreciate that. So there are two things, Abdullah Sahib, with all due respect. The conclusions of Bashiruddin Mahmud, they are the logical conclusions of what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani was writing and saying. Because understand, my dear brother, if people are going to be non-Muslim, according to Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, Muslim, he said Musliman nahi hai. He did not say even, because if he would use the word ke kafir hai, somebody can, oh, he did not mean this type of kufr, that type of kufr. No, he said Musliman nahi hai, non-Muslim. So Abdullah bhai, the point is, if Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is writing in black and white, saying that God has revealed to me that those who have received my message and yet don't believe in me, they are non-Muslims. Now, after that, the position of Qadiani group is legitimate on the basis of his writing, because that's the claim of a very true, real prophet. That's number one. Number two, that's again another point. It's an established fact, Abdullah Sahib, that Mirza Ghulam, because why I'm saying this now, because you said that when he used to take the bay'ah, he was not asking them to take a bay'ah or the pledge of allegiance as a prophet. The reason is, it is a well-established fact that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani has changed his positions. Now, he changed his position on the issue of death of Isa alayhi salam. This is agreement between Qadianis and Lahoris. Am I right?
Please say this last sentence again, please.
So, what I'm saying is, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani Sahib used to change his positions. Now, one example is, he changed his position regarding Isa alayhi salam's death or life, correct?
Yeah, he did. Yes,
Sorry?
yes, he did. He did change his
Okay,
position.
thank you. So he did. So now, Qadiani group and Lahori group, they both agreeing on a principle that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani was changing his positions. Now, what the reason? Obviously, because they believe in him. So the reason they give is, oh, because God was telling him the new truth, the new revelation, etc. That's their explanation. But as far as the matter of changing the position is concerned, they both agree. An example, they also agree that for the first 12 years, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was saying that Isa alayhi salam is alive and he will return, etc. And then from 18 and end of 1890 onwards, he started to say, no, he has passed away. Now I am one like me, one like Isa. Same is the case here. The only reason is, Lahori group is willing to admit that Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Sahib changed his position on the death of Islam after 12 years. But they are hesitant to accept that he changed his position on the issue of prophethood as well. Because in principle, one, it is agreed that he was changing his position. And on one example, you both agree. It's the only matter of a discussion that what about this matter as well. And now comes the actual point. There is the actual, Abdullah Sahib, understand this point. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani's final thesis was, which comes from A Galti Ka Idala onward, basically 1901, mid 1901, or actually late 1901 onward, his thesis was that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has two comings. Our Prophet has two comings. Once he came as Muhammad ibn Abdullah, and secondly, he came as Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Sahib, number one. Number two, he gave the reason. He said that the reason we need two comings, because our Prophet has two missions: to complete the guidance and to propagate the guidance to all human beings. He said, as far as completing the guidance is concerned, Ikmal Deen or Itmam Deen, he said this part was done in the first coming. But then he said the second part, propagation of this deen to all human beings in all corners, he said this thing was not possible. That's why Prophet has to come a second time. So that's why I said, I am Muhammad Rasulullah. इस वही इलाही में मेरा नाम मोहम्मद और रसूल रखा गया. Now, understand this point. This is the reason. Now, Mirza Bashir Ahmad MA is justified, Abdullah Bhai. Bashir Ahmad MA is telling us that when Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is telling that he is Muhammad Rasulullah, so why would he need a new bay'ah? Because Muslims already believe in Muhammad Rasulullah. And he said in clear, he said that, look, if you distinguish Man farraka baini wa bain al-Mustafa. He said, whoever distinguished between me and the Prophet, he has not recognized me. And we can go on and on. He said that it is an obligation. Abdullah Bhai said it is an obligation. Which book? Tofa Goldviya. You can read from page number 250, Ruhani Khazain, volume 17, page number 250 onward. 250 onward. He said it is an obligation on every Muslim to believe that our Prophet has two comings. And then he said, in which book? Khutbah al-Hamiyah, Ruhani Khazain, volume 16. You can read the khutbah. He said that if somebody denies that our Prophet came a second time in this sixth millennium, as with the Ghulam Qadiani, he said this person has denied the Quran. Everything I am saying, ask me for reference, inshallah. I will put it down here on the screen. So this is the reason, Abdullah Bhai, this is the reason. He doesn't need the bayah for a prophet because he was claiming to be Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is the actual reason, and this is the reason given to us by Bashir Ahmad M.A. And I agree with Bashir Ahmad M.A. and Bashiruddin Mahmud because whatever they are saying, it is coming from the writings of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. They have evidence, they have backing up for everything. Everything is backed up from his writings. And this is the last point. Sorry, it went a bit longer. This last point, inshallah, little last point. Muhammad Ali Lahori Sahib said something interesting. He, after they became the Lahori Jamaat, he said that do not quote my previous writings. He said, don't try to quote my previous writings and don't try to prove any beliefs from that. Why? Because they were clear references. But Muhammad Ali Lahori Sahib has no problem in Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani claiming to be a prophet. I give you one example. When Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Sahib said that Allah has commanded me that you cannot pray behind non-Ahmadis anymore. It was in 1901. Just imagine, Muhammad Ali Lahori Sahib, Khaja Kamaluddin Sahib, or anybody else who eventually became Lahori Jamaat, none of them said a single word. None of them. And look at the claim. He said, Allah has informed me that we cannot pray behind non-Ahmadis anymore. He said, Allah has informed me and you cannot give your daughters to non-Ahmadis. Just imagine. Now, all of that is being quoted by Bashiruddin Mahmud. So, Bashiruddin Mahmud is not quoting something from his own. He did not just make things from the thin air. He was backing things up from Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani Sahib. Ji Abdullah Bhai.
Our village was next to Qadian, where my uh, ancestors come from before we moved to Pakistan. My grandfather, he actually moved to Qadian when he became an Ahmadi because all of his tribe family boycotted him. But he was living there, and he lived there for many years till Pakistan was found in 1947. But I don't understand why did he not hear of those things? Why did he not have the same beliefs that Mirza was a prophet of God? And because although I did not meet my grandfather, but I have this second-hand knowledge from my mother that he clearly told us that wherever Mirza Sahib used this word as Nabi, he was using as an istara, as a Zillion Pruvdi means that he has the status, he's not a true prophet. And I'm just very curious, well, how come my grandfather, he couldn't understand this? Why did he have different beliefs than those of current MD Jamaats and the references that you're quoting? That even Lahori Jamaat, they did not object to any claims made by Mirza Sahib. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I give you,
But
if you, Abdullah Bhai, if you
please,
like, can I comment on this one if you like?
please go ahead.
So, Abdullah Bhai, there are many things which I can say, but let's inshallah mention three things. Abdullah Bhai, can you mute your mic while you're not speaking? Jazakallah, because there was a bit of noise from your side. Jazakallah khair. So look at this one, Bhai. There are three things. Because your question is, and I agree, it's a logical, it's a question in someone's mind that look, if all of that was so clear, that how come that our ancestors they did not raise any objection? Why there is a wrong assumption here, and I'm sure that you will agree with me after I point out this one. Wrong assumption is that as though as everyone's elders, they had all the 23 volumes in front of them, and that's how they came to the conclusion. Not at all. Abdullah bhai, not at all. It is close to impossible. Why it is close to impossible that at that time, somebody would have access even to few books of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, let alone all 23 volumes. And in order to have the holistic understanding of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Sahib, we have to have all his writing in front of us. We can read all of them back and forth, and then we can understand what he was trying to say. I give you a simple example, by very simple example. If anyone believed in Mirza Ghulam Qadiani in 1889, that is when he took his first bayah. Now, think about this one. In 18, anything Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was writing up till 1889, he never said, Isa has passed away. So now if somebody was there and he has all his literature after 1889, he can never know what Mirza Ghulam Qadiani has to say afterwards. So that's the first point we need to know, bhai, that we cannot have this assumption that as though as everyone was having access to all the books of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, and that's how they were concluding. Not at all. Number one. Number two, my dear brother, is we both agree in principle that followers of any religion can be ignorant. Now, when it comes to being ignorant, there are different levels. Somebody may be absolute jahil or ignorant. Somebody may be a little bit learned, but somewhat ignorant. So, what I'm trying to say why is that we cannot take the people of any faith as an evidence to understand or justify anything. When we know with 100% surety that the followers of any faith can be ignorant. And last but not the least, my dear brother Abdullah, the point is that in every time and age, unfortunately, Ahmadiyat or Qadianiyat was being preached to the people according to their local circumstances. I give simple example. I invite you, my dear brother, in India, they are not preaching to the Hindus that Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was the second coming of Krishna. They will never preach that. In India, they will be only trying to misguide the Muslims. Because in actual reality, in India, vast majority are the Hindus. And Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was claiming to be Krishna for Hindus. So logically speaking, in India, they should be primarily preaching that Mirza was a Krishna. But they never do this. Likewise, when they are preaching in the Western countries, I have not come across where they are telling the Christians or the common people that Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was second coming of Jesus, son of Maryam. They never say this. They use the term Masih Maud, the latter day Messiah, the Masih Akhru Zaman. Because through this title, people cannot see the actual claim. Because in reality, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani has claimed to be the second coming of Isa ibn Maryam. For the Christian and Muslim, we have same one person, Isa ibn Maryam. Asalam. They're not two people. They have a wrong understanding about that person, which we don't believe. But at the end of the day, it's the same person. So you need to understand, Abdullah bhai, that it had always been the case. It's not just happening right now. We can't just say, oh, Jamaat is no. It had always been the case. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani Sahib, when he started his project, Lahori Ahmadis, what was the project? The project was, he said, I'm going to write a book, or I'm going to publish a book actually, because he said, I have written already. Said, I'm going to publish a book. Why? To defend Islam against who? Against non-Muslims. This was his initial claim. But then we all know the history. He started to just preach the Muslims. And till today, Abdullah Sahib, you know this very well. If there are 100 Ahmadi or Qadianis, how many of them are Hindus or Christians? Not even 5%. 95% of the people are the ones who went to this cult or this thing from Muslims. But initially, Mirza Ghulam Qadiani claimed that he has come to defend Islam against non-Muslims. So we can go on and on, bhai, but you need to consider all of, and especially by 2 points, which I mentioned earlier. Point number one, that we cannot have the assumption that everyone had access to the books of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani when your ancestors converted to Ahmadiyyat. Number one, and number two, followers of any religion are not evidence.
Well, thank you once again for giving me time to share my views. And I will email you my number now. and whenever you have time privately, we can speak there, and you can further share any references with me, so I can do further research.
Inshallah, I just want to mention two things. One is that instead of your email address, just mention your WhatsApp number. That will be easy. That's one thing. Second thing, my brother, is that I'm not going to send you anything. If you are interested to know the truth, my dear brother, look, I have presented my initial case. I try to address your concerns. Now, if you have the interest, if you have the desire to know the truth, inshallah, I'm at your service. I'm not going to force anything at your neck.
I'm not. Where did I say that you should
No.
force?
What I'm saying is that I'm not saying that I'm going to send you references. If you have interest, if you have a desire, inshallah, I'm available.
I think that's what I meant. That we'll get in touch.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood. I apologize.
But I'm sorry if I said something wrong.
No.
Which
It was my misunderstanding. I thought that maybe you are expecting that I will be sending you something because I don't think what I need to send because if you speak to me, if we discuss something, then obviously I will back up with evidence.
but what I meant to say was that if I needed any help,
Yeah.
then send me references. Then I can read them and learn further about Jamaat and Mirza Sahib. Thank you
Inshallah,
very much.
I am at your service as your brother in humanity. Inshallah, whatever you ask me, inshallah, I will try my best to explain that.
Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
You're most welcome, brother. Thank you very much. Thanks to you as well. And inshallah, look forward to talk to you private, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ji Zuhaib Sahib, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Imtiaz bhai. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, brother. How are you? Just give
I'm
me
good.
just give me 1 second, inshallah. We have our guest. We'll inshallah take Mufti Sahib as well at the same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Mufti Sahib.
वालेकुम सलाम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। इम्तियाज़ भाई, मैं तो उर्दू में बात कर